Hi, welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. Now, you may have saw the title of this video. This is like an anti-shop my stash, or maybe the most shop my stash I can possibly be. I have been kind of bored of the shop my stash kind of thing. And I don't know if you've noticed, like with my project pans this year, I am taking a bit of a step back with the quantity of products that I am focusing on this year. And that is in efforts to try to use as much of my collection. It's stored in this thing that's behind me. I'm trying to use as much of my collection this year as humanly possible. I want to touch everything that I possibly can. And if I open that up right now, you'd actually see that there is so much stuff missing. And that is because it's currently in this giant basket. So rather than doing like standalone videos for Shop My Stashes, I figure I'm just going to tell you guys all of the products that I have used this month, and there's a lot. So there's gonna be timestamps down below, so you can click on maybe categories that you are more interested in what I used versus what I didn't use. Full disclosure, I am planning on doing a no pan left behind video, like where I am as of January, so I will have all of that information in that video. That video should be the next video on my channel, so on Saturday, you should be seeing that video go up, but today we are going to be talking about all of the items that I used this month. Now, when I'm filming this, it is January 31st. I've counted for my makeup that I'm wearing currently. I did go to work today in this. Today was Bandit's appointment to see if he can get x-rays and see if he needs surgery. We have a surgical consultation on the 16th now. So lots of fun things happening in my life. I'm going to separate these out into categories, and we'll talk in a second. Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff just strewn across my desk right now because I am proud of myself for reaching for so many different items this month. I used to struggle with my project pans with reaching for everything else in my collection. So taking the step back this year and focusing more on the items in my collection rather than the project pan items. Also, just wanted to know if there are spoilers. I'm going to do my best to avoid showing opening packaging if I can. So I'm going to just dive in and I will tell you like standout products, things that I am whatever about, that kind of things. And I think I'm going to start out of how I normally do my makeup. So we're going to go in reverse order. I have it spread across my desk in like an order of application, but for saving what I consider the best for last, which is eyes, I'm going to start with what I finish my daily routine with, which is perfumes, actually. There's 4 things in my hands, but technically this green one here is this one here. I am currently in my project pan of my deck of panning, actually. I'm using the Kenneth Cole Black for one of the prompts. I don't know how long this is going to take me. I just enjoy it. Every day I get to use it now, and it makes me happy. It smells like laundry. Love it. Before rolling that into my project pan, I fell in love with a combination of fragrance. When I'm at work, people dog on the Taylor Mueller Alien perfume, and I think this is such a nice perfume. One, I think the packaging is like really cool for some reason, but I think this makes a really great layering fragrance. This is really powdery. This is very sweet. Layered together, they're incredible. This one here in my hands, this more square packaged one, this is the Givenchy Irresistible. I want to say this is the Eau de Parfum. It's incredible. I get so many compliments when I wear this pairing together, and I'm like, it's unique because it's not a real perfume. It's 2 different ones. One of the other last things I do, again, we're going into makeup now, which is exciting. I don't really care about body care, skincare, that kind of stuff. We'll just talk about lips. So I know I've used more than these, but this is all I have written down. So I ended up using 4 separate lip liners this month. Again, I'm pretty sure I used more, but this is all that I have written down. Majority of these lip liners are actually new as well, except for this ColourPop one. This one I just wore because I was wearing a red lip, and this I like on my reds. This is like a nice base. It grounds a red, so I really like this. This is BFF3, really dark chocolate brown. Then these guys are all new lip liners, and I one, I can't put the Buxom one down. These two, I can give or take. I've only used the Essence one. This is the 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade number 4, Rosy Nude. This one's brand new. I've only used it once. I don't have a real opinion on it yet. Then this Makeup Revolution one, IRL Filter Finish Lip Definer. This is way too light for what I intended it to be. I was a little disappointed, but it goes really well on a red lip if I use it in the center. It looks really pretty on that. So I will continue to get used. I will not repurchase this, but I will use it up eventually in that way. Then this guy I cannot put down. This is the newest Power Line Plumping Lip Liner by Buxom. And this is the shade Savvy Sienna. They launched like this and then 2 plumping lip glosses at the same time recently. So I ended up picking this. I love this kind of color so much. It's just like a perfect brownie kind of shade. This is definitely my standout product in my lip liner category. This is truly incredible. Could have worn it today, didn't wear a lip today. I have a few lipsticks to talk about next. So I bought a few new lip products. Again, if you missed my Trash It and Cash It, I will link it. But I ended up buying a few lipstick products and I ended up using them all and testing them all this month. So I have the shades Red Zero, Lotus, and Alpine, and I ended up using them all at least one time. I think I was wearing it in a video, Lotus and Red Zero, I'm pretty sure. And then Alpine, I haven't worn in a video, but you'll have to take my word for it. I did reach for it. Then another one I really like the formula of, and I really didn't have high hopes, and I'll tell you why. So I ended up buying a Maracuja Juicy Lip Cream by Tarte. This is like their more opaque lipstick formula. And this is the shade Soft Rose. You're not going to be able to see. Definitely my kind of tone. I like this. This has a very similar formula to the Rare Beauty Lip Soufflés or the NYX, oh my gosh, I don't know what they're called, like something whipped, smooth whip lip creams maybe. My oldies but goodies also. I had one liquid lipstick that I ended up reaching for. This is the Joa TMI Velvet Lip Color in the shade No Regrets. Again, it has it has that same kind of lip whip formula that the Tarte one has, that the Rare Beauty ones have, that the NYX Smooth Whips have. Then I had 3 other lipsticks. This guy here is the NYX Filler Instinct. I ended up really loving this paired with the Buxom Savvy Sienna. This guy in Beach Casual with the Savvy Sienna shade are incredible. This is my favorite lip combo at the moment. I did reach for a couple Kiko lipsticks. I have the shade 105. Couldn't tell you the actual product name. Maybe I'll put it there. Maybe I won't. And then I have reached for my Kiko Holiday Arctic Holiday number 3. It's like a matte lipstick. I did reach for this guy a few times this month as well. This is in my project pan, so I'm not going to go into too much with that. Then lip glosses. I don't know why I keep holding one item and then like all the rest in one hand. I definitely have one that I've used once and it was in a video. I applied the Buxom Power Line Plumping Lip Polish thing in the shade Whitney. I don't know what this is called, but this is in the shade Whitney. I ended up putting this on in a video once and that was the only time I reached for that, but a use is a use and that's that. I also reached for one time my Fenty Beauty, what is this called? The Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow Fantasy. This was a holiday from 2 years ago, Sephora. I ended up reaching for my Essence Juicy Bomb in Pink Lemonade at least one time. My NYX, what are you? This is Milky Vegan Lip Gloss in Cookies in Milk. It's a really cool tone, brown, really pretty, really, really pretty. And then my standout lip product by far, I keep raving about it at work to my colleagues, to guests. I'm like, you need this in your life. Do yourself a favor. And that is the Kopari Lip Glossies. Now, these things are incredible. I bought mine in a 3-pack. As you can see, I'm just chugging away at this pineapple one. I feel like I need to put a little more on because I'm feeling just like it's rubbed off a bit. So we're going to talk about setting sprays next. I only used 3. I only have 3 different setting sprays in my collection. I have a backup of this guy though, and by far my standout is the Hourglass Veil. This thing is my favorite setting spray. The Supergoop Resetting Refreshing Mist, I used to rave about this. This, I think, has clogged in my spritzer. It sprays a little less than great anymore. Once I'm done with one of my setting sprays, I might move this to the spritzer of a different one. So this one's just okay. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Matte Setting Spray, and it sets the makeup fine, but you really have to shake the living heck out of it, or else you will have white speckles all over your face. Then we have my powder complexion products to talk about next, and I'm going to talk about this guy first because I'm not going to open it up. So you might see a picture, I might include a clip, but I did end up using every single one of these shades on my face in some capacity. I just love this. I ended up using 5 independent blushes and then 1 dark highlight as a blush topper. We're going to talk about that one last. That'll segue us into the highlight realm. But I ended up using 5 independent blushes, as I mentioned, and I use these multiple times throughout the month. Probably the most used was this guy, which was funny because I never reach for this otherwise. I was never reaching for it, and I just was like, you know what, I'm really craving like bright pink cheeks. Also surprisingly used my loose blush a few times. This is in the shade Luminary. No way you can really see it. Maybe you can see the tone a bit. It's just like a deep cool tone, like berry tone, really great for this time of year. Also used both of my ColourPop Sailor Moon blushes, which makes me really happy. So I had From the Moon, which is the more pinky toned, and then Cat's Eye, which is the more warm coral. Really like these. They look a lot more similar online than I feel like they look in person. Then another blush, I actually really love this one. This is the Benefit Wander blush in the shade Sunny. It is just a beautiful peachy coral dream of a color. It's gorgeous. Would have been great to wear today, but I did not wear this today. Then I was using this Kaleidos Space Age highlighter in the shade Mars Melter as a like blush topper transition into a highlight. That's kind of how I'm wearing it today. I have an eyeshadow on as a blush with a very bright blinding highlight that we'll talk about after this, and then this kind of to bridge and sandwich in between them. Highlights next, and I don't have that much to talk about, but one of them has multiple things in it, so it's like really we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. So I ended up reaching for my Ofra Glazed Donut highlight. This was the Nikki Tutorials collab. This is drying out. I can tell this is drying out because, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but along the edge of the pan, it's pulling apart and separating from the pan itself. So I'm going to cover up the shade that's in my project pan, but I ended up reaching for everything but butterscotch down here. So I reached for the shade that's covered up. I freaking used this one, Gumdrop. It's my favorite shade. It has the biggest pan in this. Used that multiple times this month, and then I used Starburst like 1 or 2 times. I ended up using my Mega Glow highlight in I'm So Lit this month. This is so beautiful. This is what I have underneath that other highlight today. I also used both of my setting powders, like my loose setting powders. These are the only 2 I have in my collection. I used both of them this month. I also used a couple powder foundations this month. These are my only 2 powder foundations, and one's kind of a cop-out because I'm wearing it today, and it was really to touch up before filming. So it was kind of a chintzy last minute one, but I did use it this month technically. Then one that I've really been loving, and it looks super dirty, and I'll tell you why, is my Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I wear the shade 150. It's like a perfect shade match for me right now. I have been using it with a really disgusting powder puff. This was actually from my Body Shop bronzer. I use it for this, and I love it. I have a few cream cheek products I ended up using this month. I ended up using my LA Girl Velvet Blush Contour Stick in the shade Velour once. I ended up using my e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. This shade that I'm covering is in my project pan. I ended up using this a lot this month, and I'm really happy about that. You'll notice I didn't have any powder bronzers. I didn't reach for powder bronzer once this month. So this has been my staple. Then I reached for all 3 of my cream liquid highlights. I have 2 Cover FX ones, these guys here in the shade Sunlight, which is the more bronzy packaged one, and then Celestial, which is more of the champagne packaged one. Love these, absolute favorites. Bye. I also love the Fenty Beauty Liquid Kilowatt in the shade side chick. One, the name is hilarious to me. I don't know why it's so funny to me. It just is. I used both of my cream concealers or liquid concealers. One is Project Panning, so of course I used her. But I'm happy that I ended up reaching for my non-Project Pan one also. This is the It by Under Eye in the shade Medium. I'm really happy that I used this one too. Foundation, other than my powder foundations, I ended up using the majority, all except for one of my liquid foundations. Now, and I got rid of my Oma by Sharon C, which I ended up using for like 2 weeks out of the month of January before really deciding it didn't look good on my skin, and I sent it to my friend Caroline. So out of my remaining foundations, only one has gone not used. But I did use my Bare Minerals Liquid Original Mineral Foundation in the shade Golden Fair. Really like this one. It's a dupe of the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte foundation. They're like the exact same flippin' product. Don't shell out $90 for that Tom Ford one. Don't do it. Then the Clinique Even Better, what are you? The Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 15 Evens and Corrects. I got this as a free gift because I became Diamond at Ulta. Out of my 3 remaining primers in my collection, I used 2 of them this month. The Unseen Sunscreen is my Project Pan one, so obviously I'm using that one. There is that. Then I did use my Good Molecules Silicone-Free Priming Moisturizer. I don't know how I feel about this yet. I only used it a couple times. I'm so gung-ho with this one right now that I just don't have it like a formal opinion on this at this time. I have a lot of eye products to talk about. So again, in a reverse order of application is brows, and I used my 2 brow products that I have in my collection. I only have these 2. Mascaras would be next. I did use 2 this month. The Grande Mascara I opened on the 1st of January, and I'm going to be done with it. I did put eye drops in this to like re-liquefy the mascara, and it works fine. I am wearing it in my lashes today, but it's just kind of a fussy formula because it was so dry when I originally purchased it. I got this on like an incredible sale at Ulta. It was like $1.74 or something with like the discount and like the already great offer that it was. So I kind of expected that this would be dried out, but I bought a lot of mascaras. So I opened up my Milani. This is the highly rated Lash Extensions Tubing Mascara. This is incredibly similar to the Tarte Tubing Mascara, which is my current Ride or Die mascara. I also had a couple cake liner palettes that I ended up using. This is a new journey in my life. I have fallen in love with cake liners, but I ended up using almost every shade in my pastel liner palette this month. I did not use the yellow, the green, or the white. Same thing with this guy. This is the Midas and Glam by Angelic. This was a collab palette through Midas. I don't know who was the person they collabed with, but I did end up using the red shade in this palette this month. Really cute eye look. It was like a pink eye look with a red wing, and then I wore a different look to work with that red wing. Oh my gosh. I used all of my eyeliners, all my pencil eyeliners. I'm not going to talk about them all. Nothing really stood out. There's something that stood out, but not in a good way. So I'm going to tell you my issue now. So these 2 are the only ones I've noticed this with. First is the shade Gotcha, which this is the biggest letdown of the neon eyeliners. If you are thinking about getting these Shockwave liners, staying away from this bright green Gotcha, the shade Dragon, I like this shade with a total dud. Put it in the waterline and you will like hurt yourself trying to get pigment off of this guy. And then there is this guy, which is the shade Screamin'. Now, both of these had this happen to it. Like, look at this. I pulled this out of the drawer today, and this hunk was out of it. And when I was using this morning, I went to sharpen it, and a big hunk fell out of this one. So my Shockwave liners are definitely drying out, so I need to make a focus to use them. These Extreme Lasting Liners by Essence, these I've had much longer than those Shockwaves, and I've never once had an issue with them drying out and like crumbling apart. I did lie when I said there was no standout eyeliners. This is, to me, the standout eyeliner. This was a holiday release from Urban Decay. It was a 2-pack. It was this guy and then be a black one with shimmer in it. Now this, I don't know why they needed to put shimmer in it, to maybe make another flippin' black liner that was special. Like, why does Urban Decay have 3 permanent black eyeliners? It's freaking ridiculous. And I think I actually did have irritation. I wore it as a tight line shade and the glitter did get in my eye and oh my gosh, it was a very painful day for me. This guy here is the Periwinkle shade that came in that set, and this doesn't give me any irritation because it's just a cream formula. There's no like shimmers or anything in it, but this is such a beautiful, beautiful eyeliner. Like, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Then I have some cream liquid eyeshadows that I use this month. I don't really have a good opinion on these guys, so I'll talk about them first. These are the About Face Fluid Matte Eye Paints. I got these from work through Gratis, so they were free, and I haven't really used them a whole lot. I've only used them 3 times, something like that. Then I also use the Natasha Denona Liquid Chrome eyeshadow. This is the Chroma Crystal Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Disco. I put some eye drops in it to revive it not too long ago. I have a video reviving my liquid eyeshadows. It's my most viewed video on my channel. If you're curious, the other tricks, I think I talk about 3 or 4. I'll link the video in the description box, but this is the Chroma Crystal in the silver shade. It's the shade Disco. Laura, how did you track all the products that you used? There's a couple different methods that I've seen that you could use. My one friend on Instagram, Beautybrarian, she does her tracking, I believe, in Google. Oh my gosh, it's the purple Google app. What is it? Google Forms? Jillian uses Google Forms, which is like a survey thing where you can select a thing so you can like tally how many uses you have. That is really great in theory. I think I am someone that likes to write down my looks. So it's basically like a look diary. This used to be my project panning notebook where I put like my makeup inventory, like how many times I used things. That used to all live in here. And now it's just a diary of my eyeshadow, or like my makeup of the day. So I will tally through. Let me show you a recent one because I as I'm doing this, I'm getting better at recording my I'm writing down my makeup better. So I will write down my eye products, my face products, my lip products, and then I was writing how I felt about my looks, if I got compliments, that kind of thing. I write that down, so if I'm looking back and I'm like, man, I hate this. Like, have I hated this forever? Or it's just like a right now kind of thing. I can look back and say like, oh no, like back in January, I loved this product. Why is it not working for me in September? 2 very different times of year kind of thing. So I can figure out if something's not working for me, why it's not working for me, or maybe if I've tested it and had the same experience in January as I am in July, I can make an assessment and say, okay, well, this isn't working out for me. It needs to leave my collection now. Which is what I ended up doing with like the Ulta Beauty foundation. I ended up hating the way the foundation was sitting, especially on my chin and face, like this part of my face. I hated how it looked to the point where like on the 11th, I wrote down my skin was looking so dry. I'm decluttering the foundation. So like I have things like that where if I liked my makeup, if I got compliments on my makeup, that kind of thing, I do write that down. I also write down like what things I'm doing at work that day if I am going to work. That way I kind of have this mindset of like, am I running around the store too much? Like, am I just like, am I doing too much and that's why things are like not looking well? Or is it because like the product itself is not looking well? So I am tracking very detailed now. But as I mentioned, I did not track the entire month of January. I ended up tracking starting January 9th, which is the day after one of my, I think my year-long Project Pan video went live. I ended up starting tracking this way just as an ease of like for my mind. It was just so much easier to be able to write down like this than it is for me to like pull out something electronic or like go on the computer where I'm like, when I'm done with my makeup, I gotta leave half the time. I don't want to figure it out after the fact. So doing this way, I can go back after the fact and figure it out. So that is it for this video. If you want a little bit more in depth on how I track my makeup, that kind of thing, I'm more than happy to film it. It's very boring though. I literally just write down the products I'm using as I'm using them. But thank you guys so much for watching my shop my stash, my use all the things, my something. It's going to be labeled something. I kind of want shop my stash. I know it's clickbait. There is that. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. I would love it if you left me the money that's flying away emoji, because that's what I feel like my money is doing currently with the dog. Let me know what you used. Were you able to touch every single item in your collection? Do you have a collection that's more manageable than mine, where you actually can touch all of your products? Or are you even more crazy? Like, let me we can see things look very empty up there, but also still like in this term of like my highlights, things still look very full. Or are you still on the journey of trying to use everything in your collection like I am currently on the journey of trying to use everything in my collection? There's going to be a month or something where I'm going to want to use my single eyeshadows too, or my like loose single eyeshadows that live in this thing. I just have a hard time wanting to reach for those over like my pressed singles, because there's something more satisfying about seeing a pan than an empty like sifter to me. So let me know if you want to see a loose eyeshadow video. I'm happy to do that. Let me know if you want to see any of these in any videos. I'm happy to film that. But stay tuned for Saturday, where you're going to see the no pan left behind. How did I do for the month of January? How many things did I touch? That kind of thing. That's coming on Saturday. What is Saturday's date? The 4th? If you do want to be notified of when I post, hit the subscribe and the little bell icon. Don't forget to like this video and comment. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Until then, I hope you guys are staying healthy, sane, and safe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!